last time on Dice Funk.
As if to answer your question of how she feels. And then she does a little impression of an aboleth. She like wiggles her arms like they're tentacles and kind of slithers around. And then she picks up a rock. And then she starts bludgeoning the rabbit.
You need to keep Gladys safe. And if it comes to it, you must kill me. She does not have it in her.
I think that the reason why I'm here is a bit different than why we collectively are here. So,
This biome, yes, I want to see it. But this is not my world. It is an idea made by someone.
You were like, oh, a problem here is that even though the gods have created things to give to the people, the things are limited, space is limited, these tools are limited, and people will fight over them. It seems like even the most generous gift can incite conflict. And you, selfless person that you are, was like, what if we could copy these things, duplicate these things, hand them out? I think the phrase we were using was like democratize the gifts.
Gladys knows that this is technology that used to exist in the past. It feels like the most feasible one of the bunch we've got to be able to replicate, because the pickaxe and the shield are both like a kind of god magic thing, while the holodeck is like, well, someone figured this out once before.
Two specific things you learn is about the main quest Panzer Pets LLC has been on the whole time, which is there's part of the ecosystem that's unfinished because of a traitor god, and that this person is out there and up to shit, and it's like a whole mystery. That's not super relevant to you. It's just if you were curious about that, now your characters know. There was like more that maybe Treyan could learn here that then he would take into Panzer Pets, but the botch means that is not true. The other thing is that you know where to go to learn more about forms, because this party saw a phenomenon to the east, which is not part of Arabella. So
interesting, very, very interesting. My next thought that comes to mind, he's essentially intoning, if I'm understanding him correctly. I'll be honest, sometimes it gets hard to parse what the aboleth is saying to me. I get lost in the Joe Biden visits. Is that very well this could be someone that is walking around, that maybe not we've actually encountered, but theoretically could just meet out in the world.
you hold the glowing purple gem up to the statue, and it gets really hot, almost like too hot to hold on to. And in fact, I think you instinctively like flinch and let go for a second, and the gem sucks up to the statue, like as if magnetized, slurp right up against the back.
Creature, are you intelligent?
The statue kind of gets off of the platform that it was on, the bottom of the block of marble, looks around, and says, "Intelligent? I'm Dio."
I got a new D&D setting book today. Now, Austin, after season 10, can I suggest your next setting just be Italian? Because I got a I think it's called a Barcalonia, and the header
Brand Colonia.
That's it. I'm Italian and I can't pronounce these words. Fuck them. Anyway, the subheader of this book is spaghetti fantasy.
Spaghetti fantasy.
Well, it's like a spaghetti western. It's a
Well, yeah, it's funny because spaghetti western was one of the aesthetics that was initially planned for season 9. Because I remember we were talking about possible music stuff and having like Ennio Morricone like underscoring throughout a lot of stuff. But then when the idea for the season changed and the party changed to being, a bunch of great, representatives of academia and everything else, spaghetti western wasn't quite the tone.
The monster manual is called the Macaronomicon.
Gosh, like
Holy shit. I mean, that's actually not that far off than a lot of fantasy world building. I mean, pretty much since the beginning of the thing, when Tolkien was like, yeah, this is like fantasy, but actually it's Europe. People have basically been doing that, just like fantasy Spain, fantasy France, fantasy China. That's just a lot of
I've been in Pokemon Fantasy Spain for a week now. So yeah, that makes sense.
The twist is going to be this book's going to arrive and I'm going to read through it, and they just left the Wikipedia hyperlinks in from where they copy pasted.
That would be pretty sick.
The funny thing about that is that I've been recently reading an Italian TTRPG called Fabula Ultima, which doesn't have a physical book yet because it has to be that physical book has to be made in English, but they have PDFs that are English. But it's just funny because it's an Italian developed Japanese role-playing game, tabletop role-playing game derived from the Ryutama system. So it's just like there's several layers getting to that point there. So that's, you can play Italian fantasy or an Italian developed fantasy. Your choice.
Man, I wish Italians were real.
I do too. You know,
I literally said that to my girlfriend earlier. We were playing Pokemon, and I said, "Man, I wish Spain was real. This looks so cool."
Speaking of Pokemon, I was just checking Twitter, and I'm glad that you have shared the important information that German Snorlax is called Relaxo.
Thank you. We were looking at all the different puns today because they're different in every language. So
I believe the French Goldine is just pussy over and over again.
All right, well,
pussy squared. There we go.
This is what we're doing tonight. Let's look at Pokemon and their foreign names. This is going to be a fun. The French Goldine, Poussarene, from Poisson and Serene. What is this?
And then in the anime, because they have to have a voice actor say the name, it's just pussy, pussy, pussy over and over again.
I mean, some of that's inevitable, right? Like the god of Pokemon is Arceus, and in as many English-speaking places, arse is how they say ass. So it's god is an ass.
I think they get around it with a lot of legendaries where they don't even say their names. They just kind of make roaring noises, which frankly is disappointing.
I love the ones that just make like a horrible... like the Reggie Gigas, the horrible computer loading sounds.
Last time we left the adventure, you all came across Dio, our good friend, who is currently a purple gem in the back of an androgynous statue. And this person who just steps off of the pedestal they're on here in the art biome just looks around at all of you and just says, "I'm Dio."
"I'm Gladys. Hello."
"I'm confused. What are you?"
"I'm a Dio."
"Okay, walked into that one. Can you elaborate?"
What's that? Can you eat it?"
"Do you eat?"
"What's eating?"
"Okay, this is going to be difficult."
Thank you, Sophie. This character's so much fun.
I translate like finally someone who speaks sense around here.
Finally, a friend for Treyan.
Treyan, infamously unfriendable in Arabella.
No one's friends with him. So sad.
But to remind you of the location you're at, you're kind of near the end of the art biome in one of these statue forests. In the distance, you can see the next ecosystem, but it appears to be dark. Like there's a hard cutoff of where the midday of your current environment becomes midnight in a very unnatural, unsettling way that you would assume is magic if it weren't for the fact that this world has kind of strange cutoffs between ecosystems.
Okay, question number 1. You were a little gem that lodged itself in the back of this statue. Are you the gem or are you the statue?
It's so funny you asked that because it took, 20 episodes for the other characters to take any interest in Dio's body.
Dan just cutting straight to like the point is becoming a meme at this point here. It's just like
Look, the audience doesn't get to see any of this, but I went on like 20 conspiracy rants about what I believe all of the secrets of this season are.
Dio says, "I'm me right now, but I'll be something else later. Why do you stay the same all the time?"
Okay, it is the gem that's driving this. I do not have a magical gem that I guess takes over materials. I am just me. I'm made of meat and bones.
Have you tried? And Dio reaches out and touches the spear you carry and says, "What if this is you?" And then picks it up and just starts talking to it instead of your face where the sounds are coming out of.
It is not. I made that out of a stick and metal.
You don't know that for sure. Why don't you abandon this part of you? And Dio just kind of pushes Throg down and says, "This is you now," with the spear part.
It's pushing me down? Oh, God.
Not hard, just comically, just pushing you out of frame. I'm thinking of chibi anime logic.
Okay. I think you operate on a very different worldview than... I'm gonna call us meat bags. That seems to be what you'd probably go with in this scenario.
We call you samesies.
Samesies.
What is we?
The new ones.
So new ones is so. I was about to ask, is Dio your name or your species? I assume your name now because there is a new ones. We don't know what a new ones is.
New ones is me.
New ones is you. Okay. Gladys is writing this all down like it's an interview.
Mm-hmm. I do like the scritchy scratch of you writing. I worry sometimes when it's happening that the audience thinks it's like an audio glitch or something, but it does add texture to when you're talking.
Yeah, when I'm trying to just write notes for real, I try to hold it a little further away from my microphone.
Okay, I feel like if I ask what are new ones, I'm going to get nowhere. So I'm going to come at this from a different angle. Why are new ones?
Dio's still looking at the spear, says, "It's talking to us. You shed your old skin, but it won't go away."
It literally doesn't have any skin. It's the old... I have the skin. Okay.
Embrace the new flesh. Don't be afraid to let your body die.
So
Again, not how that works for my species.
Dio, are you... New ones are new ones from this place we're here right now, where there's all of the art materials and stuff. It is a new one like a creative art piece by whoever made this place.
I don't know. What's art?
That is a very broad question with a lot of answers.
I will say, out of context, you know that the gods didn't make any sapient creatures for the New World. That's an explicit hard no. Is that it's only plants and animals, but also if this was a creation of the god of art, presumably it would know what art is.
Yeah, so that does answer that question then, because in character, I say I had a feeling that was probably not the case, but I've never heard of a new one, so you must be from gestures broadly here.
I've never heard of a you.
That's true. I came from a place that's not here.
Oh, how is that? Can you take me there?
We have traveled a long way to get to here, and where we came from there, we can't really go back to until we do the job we were sent here to do.
What's a job?
I hope you never need to learn that one.
Poor Dio.
Throg is having flashbacks to when one of his kids first learned how to just say why to every answer you give someone.
Yes, I should say we just got off Thanksgiving break here in the recording world, and when I was seeing my girlfriend's family, she has a little niece who every 5 seconds would say, "Hey Austin, look at this. Hey Austin, what's that? Hey Austin." And to the point where Joe said we should start a podcast called Hey Austin, where she just asks me stuff and I answer it on the show. So new Patreon goal, if we get to 2,500, we'll do Hey Austin with my girlfriend's niece.
Okay. Throg is once again gonna try to get any concrete information from this being. Where did your little gem in your back come from?
Oh, it's always been there.
Do you have no memories outside of the last, it's been 5 minutes?
I remember you, and I remember you, and I remember you, Dio says, pointing at the group of you. And I know this is frustrating, but I will say Dio's whole thing is repeatedly waking up with an entirely new set of memories and arbitrarily knowing and not knowing a wide variety of different things. So Sophie's role-playing decision was just like, oh yeah, she knows algebra this time, but doesn't know what a sandwich is, and also doesn't know where they came from. But I think if you want to roll maybe Arcana, I can give you some insight here on what's going on.
Oh, yeah, I could roll some Arcanas, roll some bones.
I got 11.
I got a 9, which was technically a natural 1 plus 8. That's embarrassing.
Treyan rolls a natural 9, which results in a 7. Let's go.
If Hardy fails and you get a botch there, yeah. I think not only do you not know, I think this has scrambled your understanding of what's going on. Gladys, you assume some wrong things here. Why don't we work together? Because I don't want to just tell you what your character thinks, but I want to give kind of a unique angle to the wrongness here.
Yeah, like my very first thought, and like the thing that Gladys has already been kind of leaning toward assuming, is like, okay, if this guy isn't from the art biome, then the biome we're going towards, like the pitch black one, like maybe whoever made that one made people, and she doesn't know why or how, but like that must be something related. It must be related in some way, but like I'm sure that there's a way that she could be more wrong about that.
Okay, so you think the botch consequence is you think that the gods, or at least one god, broke the no intelligent life rule and is just creating people up here?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe she thinks that's what the traitor god did, hence the traitor.
Yeah, last episode you found some notes from an explorer who said they had an encounter with the traitor god. And so your understanding is they haven't used their powers to create a new ecosystem, which would have made things. But that can be part of the botch misunderstanding. You're like, oh, this traitor god not only didn't die and create their own biome, they were just out here creating people now. Like they're going sicko mode.
And it's making the most obtuse person humanly possible.
It's fucked up. This traitor god Traitor god's got some weird motives going on. Gladys is like, oh, that's so weird that they would just walk off and make people but not other things. Crystals are a weird way to go about it too.
Why did it have no body? Why was it just there on the ground?
Are they like people? Are they like people things? Not it took an inanimate object. Is it like just take things and make it?
How are you sure that you have a body? What if you're just a bunch of electricity riding in whatever material you're in?
I mean, I do have lightning breath, so there is something to be said about that. Treyan just sort of like, wait a minute, that makes sense. That's where all the electricity comes from.
Yeah, now Treyan thinks he's sentient lightning. Good job, guys.
Like, does Treyan think he's lightning? But whoa, shit, that's God damn it. I rolled an intelligence for the chuckles. I rolled a natural 19, but it makes it a 17. It's like, but Treyan's really certain that he is a just physical embodiment of lightning.
I think Throg has a feeling that we're not going to get any like pertinent information from this creature. So he's instead going to pivot to, Dio, what do you want to do? Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, that's incredible. Dio says, I don't know. I just want to look around and see things and talk to people. I'm Dio.
Okay. He's gonna sort of group huddle with the team for a second and go, look, we do not have time for this. This creature is frankly, it doesn't seem to have any idea what's going on. Do we just send it towards the beach or the farm? There's people there.
You're in this huddle and you're saying that. Suddenly, Dio joins the huddle and just says in your voice, I am loving my new friends. We are all so close together and now I can smell you.
How did you do that?
Okay, I'm just gonna send it away. Hello, Dio. You want to meet new people, yes?
Absolutely. I want to meet people. I want to taste things. I want to smell them and then touch them. And the other sense that I do not have name for.
Well, I would appreciate if you did all of that, not using my voice, but whatever.
Dio goes and commits identity theft. It's Throg all over the place and just smears Throg's name.
We don't have... Did we have an idea of where the farm... I know we got kind of discombobulated by when we got knocked onto the beach. Do you have any idea where the other biomes are?
Yeah, we're in this area here, and so we can just point Dio towards the direction of where the mines are roughly, and that's also how they get to central station. So we could give directions, I believe, in that direction, directionally.
I think that's what we should do at this point.
Yeah, with all of Gladys's note taking, like she probably doesn't have like a map you could use, but she's probably been keeping track of the directions maybe we've been going in, or just like, oh yeah, if you want to see new people, you could just go the opposite direction we came. There's new people there eventually.
Why don't you don't want me to come with you? You don't like me? Did I do something wrong?
No.
It's nothing that. It's the main thing is we don't know what we're going to get into. We don't know how dangerous it's going to be, and as much as we'd like to have as many friends around as possible, I think we'd feel pretty awful if we brought someone along without knowing what we're getting into and something terrible happened.
What's dangerous, partner?
I mean, I don't know what's dangerous. There's so much around us we don't even know about. Like, I can't say I do know that there's this big guy that we came across named Rex has, at least 5 arms, maybe more than that. I lost count after a few of them, and they don't seem to take kindly to anyone other than themselves, and the direction we're going is probably where Rex is. So, I think we'd feel awful if you came along and, just got smashed up by that guy.
Yeah, I think Throg would just simply say, look, we are on a very dangerous task. You seem to be unequipped and unaware of your surroundings. You would be safest probably at the farm, which you can get through, and then he goes off to describe roughly the directions that Dio can take. You seem like a harmless individual. I do not want to see you get hurt. Also, may I have my spear back?
Dio says, yes, you can have spear back, but you should know, I am the dangerous one. And Dio gives you a little poke in the tummy like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Oh, well, now what does that mean?
Oh, I'm sure I believe that, but we're looking for something that's going to be extremely dangerous. I don't even know what the heck it is. But we do know what the farm is. We do know what we came through was, and what it is things that you can go look at.
Wow! You all really like the word dangerous. We're using it a lot. Is it cool
sure
now?
I am.
Is it cool and popular to use that word? Should I use it as much as dangerously as I want?
Can't stop you. Just using the word because it applies to us a lot.
It does sound cool when you say it, yeah. Now that you've mentioned that.
It's important to sound cool.
You're being dangerous.
Yeah, let's be dangerous.
Let's get dangerous.
This is funny.
Duck,
Dio like takes on traits of other people and kind of does like, mirroring and mimicking naturally, and it seems like it's endearing to Gladys and Treyan, but not Throg.
I think Throg's just exasperated. Look, if he had grandkids, he'd be fine with this, but right now he's got bigger fish to fry. Quite literally. I was gonna say Throg would have offered Dio his spears so Dio has something to defend itself with, but I don't want to cause a time paradox.
I mean, it's funny you say that because you're sending Dio back along the coast of the sea to where Dio will end up when the party meets them. But we know somewhere along the way their memory gets reset. And so anything you say or do now will be canonically undone, I guess, by that time. Mm-hmm. We then see another reset when Vimble kills Dio. That's something no one ever said out loud. I feel like Sophie was being very subtle and not a lot of people picked up on it. But when Dio got brought to 0 hit points and crumbled away and then was like reconstituted and had new memories entirely, for a new one, that's essentially death, right? If everything you were is erased, like even if you are physically still there, that is like analogous to being killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, this Bimble guy kind of sounds like a dick.
That's an understatement.
Take heart in the knowledge that you, by letting Rex go, inadvertently and indirectly killed Vimble yourself.
Heck yeah. Murder by allowing someone to leave gracefully. Good job, Gladys.
I don't know if it was graceful. Rex's skin was melted off, and he was kind of hightailing it out of there.
Listen, that's just a chemical peel. It's completely. It was a glow up. Okay,
But yeah, you can give Dio your spirit without creating a time paradox. They will go west until they get to people, and then what happens to them until we see Dio on screen with Pants for Pets for the first time isn't really, for the audience necessarily. There aren't any player characters to witness it, so I feel like that's what I call fan fiction space,
Yeah, fan fiction space.
Mm-hmm. A little coffee shop AU where Dio spills a latte on someone who punches them out so hard their brain resets.
Mm-hmm.
Before Throg gives them the spear, he's going to press one last question. What do you mean you are dangerous?
Oh, allow me to show you this power I call the Eldritch Blast.
And Dio turns to face a big pencil tree. I think we discussed as with little graphite leaves, and just simply vaporizes it with a purple beam from her hands.
Okay, then you won't be needing my spear. Yeah, if you just go that way, you'll eventually hit people.
Okay, I'm Dio. And Dio waves as Dio walks away.
Gladys waves and says, "It was nice meeting you, Dio. Bye." Very awkwardly.
Yeah, it was good. It was good meeting you. I'm glad we're both dangerous. Have good danger.
You too.
Have a nice danger. There's some Danganronpa shit there.
When Dio imitates Gladys, does Dio cover one of their eyes?
No, but Gladys has 2 eyes. One of them is just made out of glass and glows. So I think what Dio would just make one of their eyes glow,
That's very funny, though. It's a good idea. Yeah, we should reiterate because Gladys's glass eye that fills with different colored potions is fucking sick as hell, but this is not a visual medium, so you may occasionally forget that something sick as hell is happening, but this is your episodely reminder.
Gladys is sick as hell, has a cool glass eye. Next time I draw her, I'll probably include that. I've been doodling her with it, but I can't fucking post it because it's spoilers.
Well, listen, you'll be able to post it in 5 hours from now.
Yeah, we're dating this recording, but all right. So Dio walks off to meet their fate. And you all are ready to enter the next ecosystem. Are there any roles you want to make or conversations you want to have as you walk towards the darkness in the east?
I don't know what to list that as quote, danger to dragons or not.
I mean, yeah. It can defend. It can defend itself, all right. But I mean, so there's only one of them, and if you talk about dragons categorically as all the dragons, I think they can be fine. Also, I don't think they really are a threat unless we made them one. So
It did talk about shedding my skin to take a new form. And if it lacks the ability to understand that could cause a problem if it attempts to help someone with that.
Dio peeling an ancient red dragon like a shrimp.
I did worry for a minute that maybe if that crystal goes into a statue, it could go into living things. But I don't know if that's how it would work, because it seemed that Dio person seemed to have a very strict delineation between it being itself and like all of us, the three of us, being like living creatures with like biological processes.
Sprinkles has been here the whole time. Obviously, she doesn't talk, but she's been watching. And now that Dio has left, I think the aboleth pipes in and says, that's a bunch of malarkey, Jack. That's a bioweapon right there. If you find another one of those gems, you need to hold on to that. You need to bring that back to me. I'm gonna do some experiments with that. We need to slap that on some ne'er-do-wells and see if it it melts them and turns them into something else. Like if it's a bad guy in your neighborhood and you gem him, and now it's like another different guy who's on your team.
Oh, sure, we will. Shaking my head. Shaking my head violently, like doing a cutting motion on my neck, like, no.
Isn't by definition it's not a bioweapon? That was a rock.
Listen, Fat, I don't need your back sass. You're my little guy. I'm not your little guy. I'm the big guy here. You talked to.
Well, how am I fat if I'm a little guy?
I don't need this. I'm going back to my underwater lair.
Oh, thank God.
You could feel the aboleth turn to one side and shake hands with someone who's not there before swimming away.
What?
Oh, God damn it. Fucking God. Shit.
Sarah, you didn't see that video of President Joe Biden shaking hands with someone who didn't exist?
No, I didn't.
God,
Have we considered that Joe Biden is so close to death he can see ghosts?
Even though I know this guy has a name that the team hasn't learned, he's just always going to be Joe Biden fish to me.
It's the whole thing is they're psychologically very old. I don't know what to tell you. The characterization wrote itself. It came to me in a vision. All right. I think nature is the role we arrived at. With
sweet.
Yeah, nature sounds fine.
Yeah, roll the 6.
All right, that's a better roll. 18.
11.
All right, 11 and 18 are above average, so I'll give you a little bit, but not too much, because we only have one above 15. So as you approach the next biome, the first thing that sticks out to you is a drop in temperature. It's not suddenly freezing or anything, but it definitely feels like this place, the darkness means that there's like no sunlight on such a constant basis that it is chilly. It's dark so much that you can barely see like more than a couple steps ahead of you. Let's actually go around and everyone tell us about your dark vision. I know Treyan has blind sight.
Yeah, let me see.
Mm-hmm. Throg does not have dark vision, so he has to use Gort, who does as a seeing eye dog.
Yes, in the biome of life, we talked about this. You have a seeing eye, a Gort, and Treyan can see like Daredevil, and I think Gladys is the only one who just naturally has dark vision.
That is correct.
But at this point, Throg will just, I guess, spark up a torch and carry it.
That's no fun.
I thought you were gonna implore Treya to escort you across the street, as an old man, just needing some help.
Oh, he's got his seeing eye dog for that.
That's true. That's
his
true.
Wonderful dog Gort.
Throg used a seeing eye dog in the meat biome because he didn't know what was going to happen if he lit a goddamn torch inside of a giant meat man.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
So as you go into the next biome, the first thing you'll notice is that it is a kind of scrubland, which is to say it's like a ecosystem with small plants, like not particularly healthy plants. There's like heather is the name of the plant I'm thinking of, kind of like a pink a little plant that's on the ground. But there's not any trees. It seems like whatever lives here is struggling to live, which is interesting because it was created like that. This is not a place that was like destroyed or warped or anything. This is apparently the intended situation. So it's just like little bits of kaluna and low grass on this moor is the word for what this kind of system is. And there's some changes in elevation. Like as you're walking, you can feel the ground sloping up and down, but they're not hills, they're not mountains. It's just gentle slopes into darkness, and you can hear noises in the distance from pretty much every direction, which give you some pause. But with your rolls 11 and 18, I'm just going to say there are things in the darkness. You don't know if they're dangerous or friendly.
What does the sky look like?
Great question. It is very, very, very dark, obviously, but there are stars, a beautiful amount of stars, living in the year 2022. You look out the window and it's hard to see stars because of light pollution. But if you ever go into the wilderness, the night sky looks way different. And it is much more like, if you travel into kind of the Everglades or something, I guess is my experience, and look up into the sky, it's much more like that. They're big, juicy stars up there. They're extremely numerous in a way that you've probably never seen before. But no sun or moon, as far as you can tell, at least not now.
Mm-hmm. There are no trees, right?
Correct. You look around, and specifically the thing I want to give you is only small scrubland or like more plants, like ankle height, like kaluna or heather. Nothing with like leaves, nothing that requires photosynthesis on a scale of like a tree because of the lack of sunlight.
Right. If I look at the stars, does it look like these stars are intentionally set up to maybe look like constellations?
Great question. Let us get a history roll.
Treyan rolls helpfully a 3.
Let me see if I can help.
Party fails probably, but let's.
Party fails, but Gladys gets an 18. She's the only one who paid attention to that guy back in Grendel.
So 3, 4, and 18, the party fails. I think Gladys, you probably are, more knowledgeable than your companions, but none of you have any astronomy background. And so, no, you are not able to understand any significance of the layout of the stars. All I'm going to tell you is that there are many of them, and they are bigger and brighter than they would otherwise be in any other ecosystem you're familiar with, or, in the old world or in the histories. It is an unnatural starry sky. But it seems like, beautiful, if that's helpful.
What do these sounds we keep hearing sound like?
Oh, we love to make rolls. To hear sounds is perception, because hearing is one of the 5 senses.
Does my passive perception feat help? I got a +10 for that.
Holy Christ almighty.
It's only for passive perception. If I'm actively doing this, I'm a lot worse at it.
That's an 18 from Treyan.
All right. 2017-18, the party passes the flying colors. So I guess this is the scene to reset the whole thing. You enter this biome where there's no sun. It's cold and dark, and there's little plant life. You're kind of going up and down small elevation changes in relative quiet, while in the distance there are sounds. And then at a certain point you stop. Throg says, like, are those stars anything? And everyone compares notes, and it's like, if they are, we don't know what. And then your hearing picks up kind of more specific sounds, and I'll give you this, which is that they're getting closer. Why this works the way it does is because, like, as you've been traveling, these sources of the sounds have kind of been closing in on you. Mm-hmm. And what they are different animals. From one side, you hear what are now clearly wolf howls, like distant communicative howls. From another side, you hear what appears to be the like shrieks of predatory birds. And then I think in another direction, probably the echolocation noises of bats.
Okay.
So wolves,
bats, and I'm going to say with 2017-18, owls.
All right, so this looks to be some sort of nocturnal biome.
Dan, how different would the main campaign be if you had been there from the beginning?
Just absolutely, like Dan would have probably just like fucking zipped through everything, like nailed it every time. 2020.
Dan walks into a movie theater, and while the previews are playing, he just calls out the plot twist for the movie that's about to play somehow on the nose.
You're at the popcorn stand. You're just like Edward Norton and Brad Pitt are the same guy. Just like I could tell from here.
In real life, that's the real fucked up part.
No, then they would be like, this movie's going to be co-opted decades later and have its message completely misconstrued by people because they're just fucking chuds. Anyways.
See, what was throwing me was the lack of like moon at first, but with like we got owls, we got wolves, something. What was the third thing you said?
Bats.
Owls, birds, and bats. That was it.
I've been meaning to just like when the time came out for it, like just like try to ask Sprinkles, like, are you still leading us through here? Have you been in here before, or are we in new territory completely?
You ask Sprinkles that. She shakes her head in a kind of a cloud of cigar smoke, and then you hear the aboleth say, "No, hey, we just took you to where Sprinkles was. It was the following the explorers, and we don't know where they went. Maybe they got ate up by wolves or something. You found their wreckage, but that was the clue that Sprinkles found."
I see. Okay, so lots of animals howling and hooting in the distance.
I have an idea. I think we should use the Holocaster and play a Yu-Gi-Oh card, Mystical Moon, to get some moonlight in here so we can see what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about this on air. I think I said to Sarah that, you can use one of the cards to summon something, but don't worry about the mechanics because there are like a dozen conjuration spells in D&D and they all involve like other character sheets. It's a whole thing. But if you want to summon something, I will, take care of that for you.
Yeah, I think like a moon would be cool because it could be like, it could act as like some, like I don't know if there's a specific like moon spell, like you said something, but like it could just be like a cool nightlight to carry around on my wrist or follow us, however it works.
There is Mystical Moon, and there's also, if we need to break it out later, Attack the Moon.
I was going to say Blood Moon from Magic the Gathering, a extraordinarily iconic and powerful card.
I've been using a lot of Howling Moon lately in my werewolf deck.
There are a lot of sick moon cards, huh?
The moon is sick as hell. It's great.
The moon rocks.
Local moon enthusiast here. I love it.
Bro, you heard about this thing? It's fucking cheese.
All right. Actually, the way this is going to work, because this is a really clever solution to what I think you may not have even realized was a puzzle, but you have kind of jumped several stages ahead inadvertently. Everyone animal handling, except for Gladys, you do so with advantage because of you summon a moon here.
Okay, with advantage, that was 11.
It was 11 instead of a botch. You almost double botched. That's funny. So 11, 8, and 22. Even with advantage, the party does not get the 15 I was looking for to avoid an encounter altogether. With 2 above averages, I will say. Which of the 3 would you like to not have to face as a predator-prey situation? Because as the animals get closer, you notice they are much larger than you were expecting. These wolves are the size of polar bears, and the bats and the owls are, they can pick you up and fly away as if you were mice.
Mm-hmm. Owls are the world's slowest bird, so maybe we can leave them to stay.
Okay.
You just now offended the Owls fans of the show here, Dan. I'm just gonna let you know.
Yeah, they're a powerful block of voters. The caucus is real.
My gut says wolves.
I was thinking either wolves or bats.
I mean, wolves are pretty cool, so let's avoid them. That's
Throg, you have the 22. Pay me the picture of you, incorporating the moon if you would like, into kind of scaring off some of these large predators.
Okay, I think the best way that this could work is these wolves are approaching on us, right? And the alpha's clearly out front, even though I don't think wolves actually have alphas. And the guy who originally wrote that paper spent the rest of his career trying to get people to stop believing that.
Completely discredited, only applicable to populations in human care.
Yeah. I think Throg and Gort just drop to all fours and howl back at it as a threat to tell it to fuck off.
All right, yeah, the wolves kind of confer among themselves with growls and yips and yaps, and then take off into the night, not wanting any of that smoke. Roll initiative though, as bats and owls start swooping down and trying to pick you up and carry you away back to their cave and nest, respectively, to eat you.
Oh no!
Sweet. Treyan has an 11.
Gladys has a 10.
23. Natural 20.
10. All right. Throg, you are up first. I will say these are aerial enemies, a bit trickier to fight, so take that into consideration.
Okay, let's see here. I can throw my spear at him.
Absolutely.
So there's how many owls are we dealing with here versus how many bats?
It is really dark, so it is hard to get an exact idea. For mathematical purposes, there are two enemies, which are bats and owls.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna swing twice at. Let's go with the owls. Let's just beat up these birds. And I'm going to try to get them with my. Well, actually, no. So I assume if I try to just swing at them, I'm going to get a penalty of some sort because they're flying?
Absolutely.
Okay. I am going to throw my spear at them and just sort of deal with that. And then use my breath weapon to try to just guarantee some damage.
Ooh.
By scorching them.
There we go. That's the lateral thinking of the flying enemy puzzle.
So this first. That's a crit.
Holy shit.
Ooh.
So this would be -1 damage to it because this is the spear, which only has a +1. Because we had to mechanically count it for whatever. So that's 13, and then there's going to be the favored foe as well. So let me roll. Go on.
The total damage is 17 for that for doing one-handed because you have to include the crit damage in there as well.
Yeah, so that's 29 on the first hit when I throw my flaming spear into this swarm.
All right, so you have immediately impaled one of these. Which one was it, owl or bat?
I think I went with the owls, yes.
So this is a great horned owl, like the size of a school bus, and it just comes out of the darkness. You can't see, you don't have dark vision, but you hear the sound it makes, and Gort barks in a direction, and you just hurl the angel-blessed spear, infused with Gort's, fire, and it just impales it through the chest, and this thing drops out of the sky, dead as a stone, and slams into the ground. An incredible, you crit, so it's as badass as it could possibly be for something that by any metric should have killed you single-handedly. So
yeah, that's what you get for being the world's slowest bird.
Kiwi's out here feeling very powerful right now.
The slowest flighted bird.
Oh, okay.
Dead out to offend every avian at once.
Look, kiwis are great. They have to pass an egg that's basically the size of their body. They're ripping that kiwiusi clean open. Anyway, I assume there are more owls left?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Then I will use my breath weapon to try to guarantee some damage on them. Let's see here.
23, I save against the breath weapon.
Yep, you take half damage.
All right, so
that's 3 damage.
Yeah, very little. You basically just light up a murder of owls. Hold on, let me look up the collective noun for owls. Should have done this beforehand. Foolish.
Losers.
No, it's a parliament.
Oh, yeah, I think I learned that in, like, high school as, like, a fun fact.
You're telling me fucking Batman has a enemy named, group called the Court of Owls, and it's not even the name of the group of owls?
I mean, all of the collective nouns were basically made up by one guy on a whim like 200 years ago or something. I feel like I remember reading that. It's not like any official scientific thing. It was kind of just for funsies.
God damn it. Okay, yeah. So I do that, and then finally, Gort will attack. There is a +3 to this, because for whatever reason, I can't find the right place that this runs. So that'd be a 12.
Walter of Bibsworth in the mid-1200s, earliest source for collective nouns of animals in any European vernacular. Some guy just decided. First collection of nouns made by Juliana Berners, published in 1486. Wow. A real girl boss, publishing books in 1486. What the fuck? Okay, we can do this for a while, but Treyan, I believe it's your turn.
Yep. All right. So in order to get up high enough to deal with some of these, I'm going to have to invoke the Wings Unfurled element from Monk. So I'm basically going to tap Step of the Wind, which is the disengage or dash as a bonus action as Monk, and activate Wings Unfurled. So Treyan like crouches down and then leaps up into the air with the etheric, like, magical wings kind of sprouting from his back, and then proceeds to try to, I don't know, punch at the nearest bat that they come across. So first attack, that's a 25. And second attack is 15 for that set there.
Does not hit.
All right, so first attack hit, that's 10 lightning damage as Treyan strikes. How does it look like it's holding up all right still?
Yep.
All right, then I'm just going to just go ahead and just action surge, because why not? Oh, actually, no, I can't do that. My mistake. Roll back. I'm only a level 1 fighter. I can't action surge yet. No, so Treyan jumps up in the air, punches at that bat, and then is going to have to kind of start sinking back down to the ground while trying to grab on and drag the bat with him in the process.
It's very funny that I was like, I'm going to give them a fight against a group of flying enemies in pitch darkness. What a devilish trap. And you're like, we can see in the dark, we can fly, fuck you.
And we can do AoE attacks, so
Absolutely.
And sometimes you just roll 20.
I just like the idea of, like, Treyan is attempting to suplex a bat into the ground or something like Sabin. Can we find a trade? Can Treyan suplex a trade? I don't know.
We'll do an Eberron season someday.
The Treyan will come along for that. Got it.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to cast Flaming Sphere and center it, like, in the middle of, like, the swarm of bats that we're facing, since Treyan and Throg have been dealing with the owls, I think, pretty well so far.
All right, I'm going to make a dexterity save. 13, that's not good enough.
That's not good enough. That's gonna be... Let's see, did I roll the right dice? 2d6. Yeah, I think so. 7 fire damage.
No, it's 12.
12 fire
because they
damage.
Included your alchemist.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
12 fire damage.
All right, so you unstop one of your potions, and just a giant ball of fire erupts from it into the sky.
It's like the sun. We've got the moon, and now we've got the sun.
Oh my god.
We were doing it. Making this happen.
This is like when they printed Blood Sun to go along with Blood Moon. Now it is enemy's turn. I'm going to need 2 people to make saves. Gladys, you attack the bats, so I need you to make a dexterity save as they swarm you and begin biting you all over. And for Throg, I'm going to need a strength save as a great horned owl tries to pick you up and carry you away.
Okay.
I've got a dex save of 18.
Oh, Christ, that's a 1.
Oh, no!
Right. Oh, a botch. Yes.
Yes!
That's my one good save.
So Gladys, you're going to take half, which is only a measly 3 damage as some bats draw blood, like as if you were a cow being bit by a vampire bat, but it's just a trickle.
They don't have time to lick your wounds the way vampire bats do yet, but just 3 damage. Meanwhile, Throg is just airborne, and Owl's talons snap over your whole body, and you are lifted. And basically now there's a timer until Throg is gone because the owl is simply leaving the battlefield with you.
Well, okay, that tells me what Treyan should be doing next. Got it.
Yeah, this is probably the worst thing that could happen in this fight is botching this. I'm going to say, Throg, it is normally your turn, but you are just restrained. You do not get to move right now. It is now Treyan's turn. You're still airborne with your astral dragon monk feature.
Yeah, Treyan's going to fly after the owl that has Throg, and Treyan does have a higher than normal speed because monk. So
you are going to take an attack of opportunity from the things you're moving away from.
Do it. Let's have it.
16.
Amazing. That 16 took out Dan's connection to the call, but it missed Treyan.
That's great.
So Treyan just mentioned he just sort of flies up at the owl and proceeds to let's do some punches here. 19.
That hits.
All right. I'm going to do damage. That's 9 damage. The owl needs to now do a saving throw to avoid being stunned.
All right. 17.
Damn. Got it. All right. Well, second attack, 12.
Miss.
All right. We'll burn another key point and do flurry of blows. 27.
Definitely hits.
And 20.
Definitely hits.
Gort's gonna infuse those strikes, by the way.
3. So, all right. So Treyan did a total of 9, 13, 16. So that's 25. Let's go with fire damage on the owl there.
All right, the night sky lit up by these punches and kicks at the back of this owl. You definitely singe off a bunch of feathers, but actually it is still up and going. And, time is running out for this. The owl is going to go higher and higher, which is going to make the drop fatal, in addition to trying to take you away. So those are the stakes. But that bat tried to stop you. You kicked off him, Treyan, and did a flying punch to the back of this owl, which is pretty cool.
I've got another breath weapon left. Could I just unleash on the underside of this thing?
You can. I will say it's a dangerous maneuver. You'll take splash damage. I think you'll fall, or unless you're immune to your own breath weapon, I guess.
I'm resistant to it.
Okay, I'm not saying no. I'm saying it's a gamble. It's a fun gamble. I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I think I need to make a concentration check since Flaming Sphere is a concentration spell and I got bit.
Yeah, you just took a little bitty damage, so roll, but you should succeed. It was just 3.
Okay,
You saved.
Okay, cool.
Yep, it's a 14, so yeah.
Perfect. Flaming Sphere is still operational. I have rolled to save against it and botched. So you are going to fuck up these bats with your big ball of fire. Roll damage on me.
11 fire damage to those bats.
All right, another solid hit. You just start burning bats out of the sky. They're now raining fuzzy hailstones as you hit them with fire, and they kind of go limp because they're only flying on thin membranous wings. So your enemies are pretty beat up. The owl took a beating, and these bats are getting burned. And now it is their turn again. 2 things happen. One is the crushing of the talons on Throg. Strength save again.
Okay. 11.
Not going to do it. You take 20 damage, and the owl, tries to essentially wrench you apart as it's flying away. It is almost like a "if I can't have him, no one can" vibe.
Question.
Yeah.
Does it fly away from Treyan?
It is trying to. It is not going to be successful because of your monk speed. It's just a question of if it gets high enough that even killing the owl will kill Throg.
I thought I was gonna be able to get an opportunity attack at it while trying to fly away from Treyan.
And then the remaining bats are going to try to attack Gladys to stop that fire, which I don't know if they fully understand how that works. They just saw it came from you, and so they're trying to swarm you. Now they're in your mouth and eyes. Dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 18.
Oh, you save again. You take half, which is 8. So they're, biting you, scratching you, flying all over you, trying to, shut you down. And you can just close your mouth and eyes and hold your breath and, try to concentrate on the fire as it burns them away. So you need to make a Constitution saving throw and beat that damage you just took to keep the fire active, which should finish the bats off on the upcoming turn. Beat an 8 with a con save.
Should I do that now or when my turn happens?
Yes, when you take the damage is when you're supposed to roll.
Okay. That. So that is 13.
There you go. We are back to Treyan. Can you do enough damage to this owl?
Treyan's going to try, so moves in, does like a Chung Li, helicopter kick sort of maneuver, sort of action there. First attack is a 17.
Hits.
Second one is a 26.
Hits.
So that so far is 17 fire damage on the owl.
Infused strikes, an extra 1.
18 damage there. How's it looking?
I mean, you're kicking its ass. It's still up, though.
All right, another flurry of blows then.
All right.
16.
Misses.
27.
There you go.
That's another, minimum damage, 6 fire damage. So that's a total of, what's here, 22 fire damage on the owl there. With a one more stunning strike attempt on that last hit. So Constitution saving throw on the owl.
14.
That fails.
All right.
So it is stunned.
If that doesn't do it, I'll just breathe fire on it. If it kills me, it kills me.
I love this. Yes, let's do this. This is the most interesting end of the fight for me. Is the stunning strike hits the owl, it loses its senses enough to let you do this thing, point blank.
So I think I'm looking up directly at this thing's face while Treyan's kicking it in the back of the head, which drives its head down to look directly at me. And the last thing it sees is Throg open its mouth and fire rise from his throat as he blasts this thing right in the face.
All right, so you are going to take half of that damage you just dealt, so 4, and then you are going to fall out of the air.
I think Throg would like to try to grab this owl and essentially try to wrestle it so it's under him so we can try to use it to break his fall.
You're going to try to turn it into a paraglider.
Soft owl cushion.
I just like the idea of Treyan just grabbing the old man, just using himself as a cushion.
Throg, can I get acrobatics to try this maneuver of you turning what was an enemy into a glider?
Okay, here we go. That'd be a 12.
All right, so it's going to work above average, which means you are going to take reduced damage instead of full damage. But you are going to fall out of the air, and you kind of crawl onto its back or twist its body and try to glide using its natural aerodynamics. In the background of Gladys concentrating on the fireball to burn away the rest of the bats, which we will roll damage for, I am also going to roll damage on you, slamming into the ground like a Breath of the Wild bug compilation where the paraglider clips through the environment and slings you 500 miles per hour. So, Gladys, tell me about this fireball with your dice.
All right, this fireball gives a 10 more fire damage. It's like moths to a flame, but it's bats.
All right. Oh, okay. So you're saying it actually attracts them away from you, almost.
A little bit. Because I feel like it's a big fucking fire thing, and it's the thing that's like keeping Gladys from Gladys concentrating on it, and it keeping her from being hit too bad. Feel like a chicken and egg thing.
Sure, and I'm imagining you've closed your eyes and mouth to keep the bats from disrupting your concentration as they swarm you. And so your eyes are closed, but you feel its heat as you bring it closer to yourself to burn them away. And probably a couple bats in this swarm fly off into the night and just escape. But also some just panicked, just fly right into it and are vaporized.
Yeah.
But if you want to add anything else, that's the end of the fight, is you bringing the fireball up to your own, snout, like the tip of your nose as you burn away the last of them. But you have maintained your inner serenity and won by not panicking, which is a big thing for you. That was like your whole character was like, oh, I'm nervous and freaking out, and now you're just like, oh yeah, I master a fireball and I destroy my enemies.
Yeah, I think Gladys is like taking got her eyes closed, her mouth closed, taking steady breaths through her nose. Like she's got this more than she would have at the start.
You are wearing Bronco's helm, right?
Yeah, I have been the whole time.
All right. And now I'm going to roll for Throg slamming into the ground behind you. 22.
I've got 2 health left, motherfucker.
Getting a text from Throg with your body mangled up with a giant owl corpse. It just says, I lived, bitch.
Yeah. Hey, how about we play a healing card on the Holocaster real quick?
Yeah, I got like fucking healing word. I can just once Throg has thwomped onto the floor, I can break my concentration and come over to help.
I picture Throg in the Yamcha death pose on the ground, just like there's a crater. There's just Throg, just
the Yamcha lizard is great.
Yeah, just like that.
Oh boy,
Throg, I have given you 12 health. I have spritzed my spray bottle on you.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Treyan falls safely on the ground next to Throg. Yet another fight where Treyan took 0 damage for some reason, and just like.
Yeah, I swung on you a couple times, but your AC is sky high.
I don't think anything has ever attacked Gort in this campaign.
I would never.
Nope.
That's an Austin Yorsky promise.
So what you're saying is I need to sort of always have Gort as a baby Bjorn on my chest as sort of an invulnerability shield.
I see you've listened to the show before. This is called the Lauren Morgan.
Baby Bjorn classic.
Mm-hmm.
The baby Bjorn shield. Yes, we had this exact discussion in season 7. She did this to me, and she said you would never attack my animal, and I said, you're right. You're now invincible.
Throg is gonna sort of climb out of the obliterated owl corpse, just panting and like, Gladys, are there any healing cards in that deck?
Just
my bones.
I'm so sorry.
Let's see, where's the hit dice on this goddamn thing?
Okay, so I just pick how many hit dice I use and then roll hit die. Is that right?
I will say, Gladys, you can use your healing spray, one of your alchemical spells, and we see the color in your eye slightly drain. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Cool, because you can use the ability of the spell ring. I think it's called the spell slot ring, but its flavor is like the juice in your eye kind of goes down.
Yeah, and that replenishes a spell slot, I think.
Oh, Christ, these rolls.
All right, why don't you paint me the picture of this arrest? Because you're in the biome of darkness here. It's, pretty cold and lonely. You're pretty hurt. How does this look in my mind's eye?
I pictured that we make like a small little campfire or out of whatever we can get. Treyan is doing what he can to help out Throg, despite having nothing he can do outside of maybe cooking for him or something.
Throg is taking this fucking owl and the fire we've made, roasting the big turkey leg like limb over the fire.
So no, we're cooking the entire owl. It just turns into a single giant leg somehow from the one thing. There we go.
Now, see, it's actually dangerous to eat an apex predator because all the toxins in an environment go up the food chain. Something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's nothing else in this environment. Actually, that's a good question. What the fuck are these things eating besides us?
Yeah, roll survival to look around.
21 for Treyan.
Incredible.
24.
Wow.
14.
21 and 24 rock. You both got over 20. So in addition to the information, which is that the surrounding moor is filled with nocturnal animals, rodents and insects, obviously, but just all kinds of different things. This is, an area of perpetual night. So none of these things are threatened by any of the, the hunters that might be there in the day to a normal animal. Instead, it's just always their preferred time. And there are, I Googled literally a list of nocturnal animals and I'm like, yep, they're all there. So, if you want to talk about raccoons and possums, especially, I would love to confirm that possums and raccoons especially are there and they are vibing. Of course. They're chilling. They're relaxing.
Yeah.
They're keeping it tight.
They're somehow not threatened at all by the apex predators because they have a pact. They're secretly best friends. All of them are best friends with each other. We got we have the Rocket City Trash Pandas, just vibing over here. That is an actual minor league team.
Incredible.
Along with the Quad City River Bandits, which is also a raccoon themed minor league team.
But a 21 and a 24. And additionally, if there's something you want in the environment, we can talk about that because I want to give you a mechanical benefit in addition to the knowledge that, possums eat ticks, raccoons eat trash. I guess there wouldn't be any trash here. What do raccoons eat without human intervention? Raccoon diet.
Apparently capybaras are nocturnal, so I guess those are there.
Yeah, we got fruit, plants, nuts, berries, insects, rodents, frogs, eggs, and crayfish.
Yeah, I mean raccoons are eating all of those things here, so it's like a full ecosystem. It's just only night creatures, and it's.
I have an idea for a night creature here.
Absolutely.
So a lot of like nocturnal animals will use like starlight and moonlight to be able to navigate, right? I'm suggesting some sort of bioluminescent creature that can mimic starlight to confuse things like moths and things like that nature.
That sounds sick. I like that.
Yeah.
I love bioluminescence. It looks cool no matter what.
I mean, the thing that comes to my mind is the Pokemon Cresselia, which is a moon-themed Pokemon, which is a kind of like floating psychic thing. I don't know if you want to Google that real quick, but she's kind of almost swan-like flying moon person.
What if it's just a bunch of little crescent moons with faces floating around?
I mean, that is also a Pokemon. That is no, it's not Ursaluna. Lunatone.
It's Lunatone.
That's Lunatone.
See, I'm actually thinking of Warhammer personally, but
I do like the idea that there are a number of different moon-themed creatures here, including all the ones we said, just floating around. You see a possum sneak up to your campfire and steal some great horned owl meat, and then you're like chasing it, and then you see a fucking Lunatone just chilling out. And you're like, what the fuck?
Can it be that one food mascot that was like Mr. Moon or whatever?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Mac Tonight.
Mac Tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Mac Tonight. A living cryptid, all right.
Oh, my God. If there were sapient creatures here, yeah, you would be like, oh, that was a hard-fought battle. We have to gather our strength for the morning. Wait, what's that? It's Mac Tonight. No. He's just walking around. Just like, hey, it's me. I'm here. It's my house.
I remember. I know that I can't remember the lyrics to the commercial version that Mac Tonight sang. But it's just like Mac the Knife, but for McDonald's burgers.
An idea for a creature. It is a living moon type creature, but it only has a month-long lifespan that ends when it reaches the new moon, which then spawns the next generation.
That's fun. I like that this biome without an actual moon has all these like moon creatures to kind of almost supplement for that. I don't know. It's aesthetically pleasing to me.
So when it's like a full moon, that's it. When it's in like it's breeding season, and it's they're doing all their reproduction, and it's like salmon. As they reach their the end of the crescent phase into the new moon, how like salmon are basically zombies towards the end of their lifespan, where they just release their eggs, die, and then the new generation comes up.
I wish I could do this with the other team, and they wouldn't just say, "What if it had a human face? What if it had a human face? What if it had a human face?"
What if it also had a human face?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, actually, the other thought it'd be interesting would be, depending. I'm thinking with the moon phase thing. There's like, what if it depicted different things at the different phases there? Because I always like to think of like there's the man on the moon, the rabbits on the moon, and stuff like that as a thing there too. So.
It's your mid-month breeding season, and they give you this look.
I'm afraid to open this. That's not going to be it. I'm going to have to cut that from the audio because this is nothing to them, but it's great.
What about this one?
Okay, I was going to say when you wake up in the morning, what do you do? But there is no morning. We know eventually your circadian rhythm awakens you, but it's still pitch black out. What is that like? Any conversations or roles we want to have here?
I feel like definitely, like, if there's, like, no fucking sunlight, like, Gladys waking up, maybe the others too, it's just, like, it's a little disorienting, like, took world's worst nap, woke up 3 hours later, feeling like shit.
A raccoon has one of your potions in its mouth.
No, little raccoon, you don't know what that does.
It's a large reduced potion. Suddenly, it's Raccoonzilla. Roll initiative.
Oh, sweet.
Gord has spent most of the night harassing raccoons.
Yes, absolutely.
I like to picture that Treyan, it's up like, whatever, at least here. Yeah. Treyan, when he wakes up, sees that it's still dark, shrugs, and then proceed to do like some kata to kind of warm up and wake himself up. So he's just off listening to some music in his head and doing his little dancing shenanigans, as he does.
I think Throg is basically doing classic predator scaring tactics of make a lot of noise so whatever is there stays away.
Okay. Yeah, it's the banging pots and pans together. If I can't get no sleep, neither can you.
Yeah.
I think that Gladys is like trying to wake herself up at least and like stretching and like if she sees the others are awake, she's like so like rubbing her eyes like, what do we even have any guesses what this form thing is we're going to find eventually? I just know it's powerful and potentially dangerous. But I've been racking my brain and I can't for the life of me even start to figure things out.
In my understanding, a form is the perfect ideal of something. Maybe these perfect Platonic ideals were somehow used to create these particular biomes, like a template, like a perfect sky being used to then create each individual astrological God, Jesus.
Throg, I was just picturing Throg saying that all in
I landed on my head. Fuck.
Oh, Jesus, fuck Christ.
Treyan walks over to try to think about the conversation, but he does so while in a handstand, so he's just like in a handstand while listening to Throg talk through this.
Yeah. Okay. A perfect, the form of a perfect sky used to then create each individual biome sky. Maybe because there's this traitor, quote unquote, God, this is somehow left over from that because it wasn't used up.
It makes me think of like when you sometimes in sculpting, you can like make like a mold of something and then make that over and over. You can use that to like make like a like have like the mold of like the perfect sky, and then people would like put their own spin on it as they used it.
Yeah, essentially that. A master mold is what Throg is thinking that this might be. Because if this is supposed to be a brand new world, why would this be here? And how could it still be here?
At this point, the aboleth pipes up and says, yeah, Jack, if it's something like that, we gotta destroy it. We can't just let people be making new stuff fresh from the mold. That's dangerous to dragons, It's dangerous to me. It's no bueno.
Unless a dragon uses it or you use it.
Why would I use it? I have everything I need. I'm the most powerful guy in the whole thing. I'm big, and I'm large, and I'm in charge. And you're a little guy. What do I got to worry about?
Oh, you just Gladys, like responding to the aboleth is just like, I don't, it could be anything, and because it's so powerful, it could be dangerous no matter what. So it could be like the platonic form of adorable duckling that could be dangerous if you used it wrong.
Well, if it was the adorable duckling, are you still going to destroy it like I asked? Or are you going to go all soft and try to keep it? You're like, oh, it's so cute. I don't even care if Kashim makes the guy knock my other eye out.
I mean, you can literally take control of me at any time, so the answer is sort of moot, isn't it?
I mean, you could all go down in a blaze of glory, I guess, but
I think Gladys would say, like, it genuinely does depend on what it is. I need to know what it is before I make my decision.
When you say that, Sprinkles looks nervous, like her eyes kind of go wide, and she walks away. She starts, trying to put distance between yourself and the aboleth's telepathic range, basically, because then you hear him say, like, come on, no, go back. I want to hear this. I want to hear her plans to betray me. Sprinkles, stop it. Turn around. I want to hear this. And then to protect you from yourself, Sprinkles walks away and takes Kushim's radio signal a little further away.
Thank you, Sprinkles.
Thank you, Sprinkles.
She tips her hat as she walks.
Anyway, let us go find this, but whatever it is.
I guess we'll just know what it is when we see it. I doubt it'll be, like, I doubt we'll, like, find a form and be like, well, I don't know if it is a form or not.
Unless it's the platonic ideal of the darkness. I mean, maybe you can cast magic missile against it or something, but... You know how
you would know if it's the platonic form of the darkness is if as you approach, you just hear, I believe in a thing called love.
Right when you do it, Austin, Discord cuts you off. It's like, you're not going to make that joke, Austin.
Thank you. It's okay. That's so funny.
That's a joke for you in Audacity, but not for Discord.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I just wanted to get that on tape, which is if the form is something you think should be preserved, what would you do? Gladys's answer, presumably for the whole group, is I have to know first. And with what we know about Throg and Treyan planning a euthanasia, if it comes to that, that's ratcheting up this uncertainty about the moment of revelation.
Mm-hmm. Because Gladys is just like, we'll figure it out when we figure it out. And the other two are like, okay, so if Throg has to die.
Uh-huh.
Well, she's gotten a lot. She's grown a lot on this mission. I don't think she's ready to euthanize Throg yet.
That feels emotionally true. But you pack up your camp and you start moving again. Once again, complete darkness. Gort can lead Throg. Dark vision and blind sight respectively means you're moving up, slow inclines. You're moving down, slow declines. In the cold darkness, you hear animals chittering, but nothing attacks you. Apparently, you have established yourself in the ecosystem as a threat, and things aren't just charging you anymore. But you see raccoons and possums from time to time. We want to make any rolls about this journey because you're kind of moving. The stars are beautiful and numerous above you, but not much else is going on.
I'm going to roll athletics to see how long Treyan can continue walking in his handstand before he needs to get back on his feet. That's a 10, so not too long, but
perfect.
All right. He does eventually get back on his feet, but that's a good upper body and core workout at the same time. It's efficient, okay?
I had the thought of like perception or investigation to see if there's any previous traces of the folks whose skiff we found abandoned in the last time.
Perfect. Investigation.
Oh shit! Holy fucking shit!
Oh my
there.
god, a crit! 28!
Holy shit, it's a crit. It couldn't be better. Gladys, would you like a raccoon or a possum to be your Pokemon?
God.
Pokemon, come on.
Pokemon.
Could take one of these anglerfish that we talked about, or the
Yeah, you want Mac? Do you want to bond your soul with Mac tonight?
Bond with Mac tonight. God, that's
and because before they only had like a month-long life cycle. Now you've skipped that entirely.
I mean, it's up to Sarah. You can have literally anything you want. Something we talked about. You can make up a new thing. This is Gladys's moment to have a creature that is,
it's
cool.
If it's one of those like little moon guys, I imagine that they're like floating. Can it like if I bonded to that, could I just have it like floating around my head like in an orbit?
Like a lunatone, a crescent moon shaped floating creature?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Moon friend.
Moon friend. So paint me the picture of you finding this creature and how that interaction looks, because what happens with the crit is it leads you to something. Basically, you see this thing and you have a similar, spiritual vibe. You both are creatures who are intensely curious and intelligent and empathetic, and eventually you figure out that you're both looking for things, and we'll get to the end of this scene once you tell me how it looks from your perspective.
Yeah, I think what Gladys is trying to do is that she is trying to look around for like skiff marks or signs of people having been here before, and like she has dark vision, so she can kind of like stick a little close to the party, but like wander off to areas that seem like they might be promising, and maybe like I know that Throg has like the torch lit, so maybe like dark vision plus torch and like looking into like maybe like places that are a little off the beaten path. Like eventually like this little moon creature is in her peripheral and like light bounces off it because the moon has like really bright like sediment. Like it, that's why it's so reflective when the sun hits it. And so she just finds this little fucking dude, and she. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
And probably like approaches it slowly, and just is just like, oh, hey there, little moon guy. I'm just trying to find if there was any other people around here. Did you see anyone like us?
The moon kind of rotates around your head like in orbit, looking you over. I should acknowledge Dan is putting many pictures of moons into her chat, including some disconcerting ones. That's really for us more than for you, audience.
They're all great. They're all wonderful.
They're all incredible. But it has, I guess, little eyes, right? But it doesn't have a mouth, or at least I'm not picturing one.
I'm imagining like in my mind, these guys are like cute little moons with like a little chibi eyes, and I don't think they have mouths. That's for me. No mouth.
All right. So it doesn't make any noise to acknowledge you, but I think after rotating around your head, maybe glowing, I'm thinking it probably has some kind of luminescence naturally. It starts leading you to the south, trying to show you where there were people, and so you can tell the group like, "Hey, I found a thing. It's trying to show me something," and you can all go.
Yeah, just like let's follow the moon.
Yeah. Oh my God, more pictures.
I'd like to know what Throg has been doing. So Gort is basically on the verge of like, I guess, Drake adolescence. He's right about the age where he's going to start being able to fly. So Throg is basically like picking Gort up and having Gort flap his wings to try to get used to the motions. And I guess I'll just roll animal handling for that.
Oh.
10.
All right, yeah. I mean, you spend some time bonding with Gort. It's perfectly. I mean, you rolled also, I think, what Treyan rolled to walk on his hands for a while. So you two are just being normal. Gladys is accomplishing things.
Normal.
Can I make a suggestion? Can I make a suggestion that this little moon in particular is also missing one of its eyes? Both is because like a parallel thing, and also because of that famous movie with like the rocket ship and the moon in the eye.
And it knows where people were because it got shot in the eye.
Oh my god, this is the shit. This is why you have good people on your podcast, so they can reference Le Voyage dans la Lune, which I have absolutely butchered. But yes, the 1902 French film by Méliès. Fuck, that's good. God damn it. Damn it. I'm like, this is one of those things, I don't know if you've ever seen this, where you see like a movie or read a book and then you get pissed because you're like, I wish I had done that. Fuck, it's good. That's Sarah just hit me with one of those.
I had that with, I commissioned a guy to make Arthurian themed goblins and trolls for my Warhammer army. And then Games Workshop just kind of did that too. So I was like, yeah, great, you've made models that fit my tastes perfectly, and I know that you had these like in the chamber probably 3 years ago, but I still kind of feel like you did an IP theft on me.
Yeah, so it'd be like that. Does anything you want to say about Treyan observing any of this before I move on?
Treyan just sort of like looks at the moon little thing, like the moon thing floating around, like orbiting around Gladys at this point, because it's just orbiting around Gladys perpetually. I'm taking it.
Yes.
And just sort, and Treyan can't help but just like crouch, kind of get at more eye level with the thing. It's just like, huh? Well, it looks like you picked up a friend here, Gladys. It's pretty cool.
It's very small, and I think it knows where to find the trace of people that I was looking for.
Yes, it takes you further south into this ecosystem, and eventually you kind of come up an incline. Once again, not like a mountain or anything, but such that you couldn't see, for miles and miles ahead of you. And what the moon creature, which we actually need to name, leads you to. Did you say Mac?
Yes.
It's right. So now Gladys is starring the starring role of Mac and me. Got it. Let's do it.
Oh boy, this is not sponsored by McDonald's, but if you want to hit me up, Austin,
Gladys. Okay, fine. It's Gladys and me. That's what we'll just call it then. From the perspective of the moon.
McDonald's, DM me at Austin Yorsky on Twitter if you would like to sponsor the show.
I have scars on my ankles because of McDonald's, and I will elaborate no further.
Oh, Christ. The possibilities are endless and dark. What you see as you reach the top of this incline is the sky ahead of you, beautiful, full of stars, appears to have a phenomenon that you read about in the journals you found in the skiff of Captain Duane. Specifically, it appears that the stars are falling from the sky. Not tons of them, just every once in a while. You see one of these bright lights fall to the ground in the distance. And we know from the Dio episode that Gladys writes this down because Dio finds the journal where Gladys describes having seen this.
Gladys is writing this down so hard.
And so even though you just ran into Dio in this episode, I'm realizing how funny this is, that everything goes full circle. Dio goes all the way around the sea and back to the tunnel biome and finds the journal describing the falling stars and sets out to find them, despite the fact that Dio started just west of the falling stars, meaning she traveled in a huge circle. Very funny.
Do these stars falling out of the sky seem intentional, or does it look like, I don't know, maybe they like flicker and then crash out, or something's knocking them out?
Great question. Can I get a religion roll for reasons which will be clear depending on your outcome?
15.
18.
Oh, 18.
And Treyan rolls a botch.
Oh.
Excellent. -1.
Oh, what a
This
roll.
is like that perception check from the last episode where Treyan is the only one who didn't succeed and botched.
So 15 and 18, the group succeeds, but there is a botch, which means there's going to be a negative consequence. I'm going to put that in my back pocket for now, because I don't know that I want it to spring immediately. Here's what I'll say with an 18. Your question, Dan, was if it seems deliberate. And with an 18, I will say it seems like something magical is involved. This does not seem to be a natural phenomenon of the ecology, which is to say you see stars in the sky, gorgeous, beautiful, huge, fiery, and then these other ones that are falling look different. They are refracting light in a unique way, unlike the stars around them, and they seem to be falling like quite suddenly. Mm-hmm. And you're looking, and they all seem to be falling in the same direction, like they're streaking across the sky diagonally and kind of onto the ground in the distance. And it makes you think, with an 18 and a 15, I'm going to give you this. They are maybe coming from the same source. It is not like there are stars in the sky that are stationary and they're just randomly falling. It almost seems like there are two classes of celestial objects here. In fact, I know what the botch is. 15 and 18. There are two things you can do with this scene. One is to go to where the stars are falling, and one is to go where the stars are falling from, like under that area, because it's streaking diagonally across the sky in front of you. And I think the correct thing here would be to check out where the stars are falling from to see the source of this. And instead, with the botch, you were going to go to where the stars are falling to, which is dangerous because they're stars and they're falling and you're going to be under them.
See, that I assume Skitch was just going to get hit by a star, and so this fits my assumptions perfectly. I did this once in a game where a wizard launched a trash can into the sky with a horrible botch, and then later on when they were in a boat, it came crashing down and wrecked their boat.
Yeah, that is kind of the flavor of what's happening here, is you see these stars streaking across the sky, and you rolled well enough to know there is a phenomenon, a profound phenomenon. Why you rolled religion instead of arcana is because it is not just a normal spell which can pull fusion reactors from the sky. Something otherworldly is going on here. And I'll say this: you're on the trail of a form. The aboleth is sending out agents into the world to try to discover it. Sprinkles found a lead, which was this group of explorers who had contact with the traitor god, and it has led you to this point. You can make the inference that if the form is involved, something so powerful it can pull stars from the sky.
Wait a minute,
up ahead.
Hold on a second. My brain, the little hamster in my brain is starting to turn here. This entire campaign is about getting not a wish at the end of the game. And these are stars falling from the sky. You wish upon stars. So there's something forming here.
If the episode ends abruptly, Dan just said the twist, and so I cut him off by ending the episode. If the music's kicking in right now, that means he said something he shouldn't have.
Ooh.
So following Mac, your moon friend, you head out into the darkness, but you go to where it looks like the stars are falling, which will yield information. I'm not wasting your time.
Yeah, of course.
But it's dangerous because a star could fall on you, and also there is a source that you aren't going to immediately. So that is what's happening.
I am overcome with the urge to put potion bottles on Mac and see how many I can stack on this orb.
That's very funny.
I would be even greater if you were able to take like little potions and have them orbit Mac,
Does Mac have its own little gravitational pull?
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet.
That is such a Mario Galaxy ass thing to happen.
Oh, that's how they feed, because little insects get brought into their pull, and it impacts onto their crater bodies, and each of those little craters is like a filter feeding type thing.
Oh, I like that. Beautiful little moon baby.
I was just picturing like what type of calisthenic thing training he's done. The handstand walking. I'm picturing some high knees. Obviously, just got to kind of, got to work out the hamstrings and quads properly and stuff. Maybe if people are slow enough, he could do some lunge walking. Just doesn't look weird. It doesn't look stupid at all. Okay, I swear it doesn't look stupid.
So I think Throg is just intensely watching. Where, I guess over his shoulder, where these stars are getting knocked out of the sky. I guess not knocked. My brain tells me that I want to see like a man in the sky hitting him with a baseball bat, but that doesn't seem to be what's occurring here.
It's entirely possible. I will say it is, distant enough and dark enough that it is not immediately obvious. The knocking things out of the sky with a big baseball bat is still on the table, as unlikely as it is. So I don't want to say that's not happening.
And none of these base level normal stars seem to be turning into these refractive ones.
Not that you can see, no.
Okay.
All right, it is time for the botch consequence. Everyone, dexterity saving throw to not have a star fall out of the sky and hit your character.
21.
12. Or 13.
No, you were 13. Yeah, I rolled a 12 with my +8.
All right, everyone's above average, so no one gets fucking obliterated, which I was worried about. I was like, if someone botches, I'm going to have to really do some contortion here to say your body is not reduced to mist. But 12 and 13 are going to fail to an extent that when one of these lights comes streaking down out of the sky, when it hits the ground, there is a kind of blast wave, a radius, that is going to damage Gladys and Treyan. But you'll notice I said earlier you don't hear anything as these are hitting the ground, which is what you would expect if they were being, if the ground was being shelled by interstellar artillery. But that's because as you see the blast wave, it is not simply a concussion of something heavy hitting the ground at a high speed. Let me roll the damage here first. So you're both going to take something here.
See, we missed a chance for Throg to do this with the pickaxe.
To do what with the pickaxe?
You'll see him.
You just put... Dan has put a picture of someone hitting a meteor with a baseball bat into the chat. Incredible.
It's a brontosaurus. He's saving his species.
That is exactly what is happening. Extremely funny.
That's my fucking season 5 character right there, basically. Anyways.
15 damage to Treyan and Gladys. What the blast wave is as you get close, because you foolishly kind of walk onto the star field as these things are falling, and one streaks out of the sky, hits the ground in front of you, and you probably think at first you're safe. Like, you're like, oh, we're, a pretty good distance away. But then this wave sweeps towards you, and it's not dust and debris and rocks. It is magic in a way that as it moves across the ground, it is transforming the ground around it. You see the heather plants kind of picked up in the blast radius, and in the air you see them like get pulled apart and almost reassembled. The ground all around, the dirt, it is all transforming lava lamps, right? The stuff inside a lava lamp, it's becoming like amorphous and liquid and moving, not like a normal explosion, but almost like some kind of strange transformation. All of you are familiar with like shape-shifting druid transformations, right? Where you can wild shape into an animal. Basically the ground ahead of you does that in such a way that you are like blown backwards and hit by things that once one moment ago were, dirt and rocks and plant material, and are now porcelain and glass and steel.
And is it leaving anything in like the crater of where this happens? Like, is there a core to this star or anything like that?
I think you asked me that Dan, which is representative of like, yeah, Gladys and Treyan get knocked down by kind of this wave of material, and you do not. Maybe you've rolled to the side. Maybe Gort.
I just jumped. I jumped over the boss wave.
I was gonna say maybe Gort senses it coming and kind of like pulls you to the side. Whatever the case is, you are the first on the scene of the impact. And you can't see; it's too dark. But Gort can, and you control Gort. So I'm going to give this to Gort's perspective, which is, bark, bark. He runs down into the crater, and you see dozens of these impacts all over, as far as the eye can see in each direction. And in the epicenter of each impact is a glittering gem.
I fucking knew it.
That's what I thought this was too. I think this is a consequence of the trade. Maybe that's why they're the traitor. Because they wanted to create sentient life. Or maybe this is because of them not using it.
Sarah, this is the end of the episode. Do you want to dazzle everyone by saying how you knew it? As a player, this is my favorite thing, is showing everyone how smart I am.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I love to give people the opportunity.
Like, I had a pretty good feeling that New Ones and the stars falling were connected. Like, for a while, I didn't want to, like, fucking steal your thunder or whatever. But it's like, if there's, like, stars up in the sky and, like, the ones that look fucking weird are falling, then those must be like the gemstones, and they just my assumption is they have like a fucking blast radius of intense fucking form magic. Maybe they're all pieces of the form falling apart.
I think Gort reflexively picks up the star and scampers up the cliff.